What do you do when you come out on an end run, you guards? You get out there, I don't give two damns where that man's standing. You work your way into that line of scrimmage inside out. Well, maybe another 9 years will do it for you then. It's inexcusable for you to miss that. You just took it for granted and you...
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. Before I get started, just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, the New York Giants got two articles here I saw. It's from both were on Giants Wire. They guess they went out into the world and they found Giants not getting a lot of love. Understandably so. The first one they got is CBS Sports. Giants have the fourth worst roster in the NFL. Phew. Okay, that's not much love there. And then ESPN predicts another last place finish for the Giants. So once again, not getting a lot of love. Now, I mean, a lot of it is, you know, you can go by, the evidence they have. Okay, what is the evidence that they have? The only evidence they have is, what's been going on the past few years. I mean, this is what, right? Still got Daniel Jones there. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We added some nice, we added another offensive tackle, got an edge rusher, but then we lost some guys too, right? In the secondary, I let Bradbury go. Jabrill Peppers, Logan Ryan, right? So now we got maybe some inexperience back there. We got Julian Love maybe going to be the starting safety, and he's never been a starter before. So we got a little weaker back there. Our defensive front really didn't get any better. We got a little better at the edge. Blake Martinez is coming back, okay, but is he going to be the same? Might take him another year or so, maybe to get back into true form. The evidence that we have on the offensive side, we got some guys that can play, but, Sterling Shepard gets hurt. He won't be able to start the season for us. Kadarius Toney gets hurt. Kenny Golladay underperformed. Saquon Barkley, he gets hurt. The offensive line should be better. Our tight end situation, went from, Kyle Rudolph and Evan Ingram. Now we're kind of open, I hope he turns out phenomenal. Daniel Bellinger, but, it looks like, we went from Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph, right, to Daniel Bellinger. So, so it looks like, we took a step back on the tight end situation. We put Wan'Dale Robinson in there. Now, hopefully he turns out fine. I'm pulling for him. Hope he gets 100 receptions this year and all that stuff. But, I could see if the Giants got like, maybe DeVonta Smith or somebody like that, somebody like CeeDee Lamb, they drafted somebody really high, really super spectacular, and put him in there, that might help. But, all they can do is go by the evidence that they have, and what's going on in the past. They can't say, first time Joe Shane and GM Joe Shane and first time Coach Brian Dable going to come in. They can't say, well, I'm sure they'll score more points now, and Wink Martindale, I'm sure they'll do better on D. They can't do that, right? All they can go by is the evidence that they have, especially with ESPN. The Giants are, I can't remember what they're 22-59. I believe 272 winning percentage over the past 5 years. That's the evidence that they have, okay? And with the bad salary cap situation, all right, that the Giants were in, they really couldn't add. They had to let some guys go. Shame of Lorenzo Carter, right? Couldn't sign him. Will Hernandez, I don't know if they wanted to sign him, but it would have been nice to keep Lorenzo Carter. He only cost $3 million, right? I let Evan Ingram go, So we really didn't add much, because he was just strapped with the salary cap money. It is what it is. But so all they can do is pretty much, it's the CBS Sports and the ESPN is go by the evidence that they have in front of them. Okay, if the Giants turn out to be really, really good this year, or 8, 9, 10 win team or so, well, then they have different evidence for next year. Okay, they probably won't predict them to be in last place or whatever, but the biggest thing, okay, is Daniel Jones. They still have Daniel Jones. And as long as we still got Daniel Jones, and as long as we're still churning out losing teams, the Giants ain't going to get much love. So let's take a deep dive, shall we, into these two articles here from GiantsWire.com. All right, ESPN predicts another last place finish for the Giants, and CBS Sports, Giants have the fourth worst roster in the NFL. All right, the New York Giants. Let's take a look here at first article. Got ESPN predicts another last place finish for the Giants. All right. The New York Giants made some wholesale changes this offseason in an effort to reverse a near decade-long stretch of losing. Whew. Guys, it's getting old, ain't it? Have those changes changed the narrative about them across the NFL? Nope, not really. Most experts want to see proof of life before putting any chips down on the Giants. That's true. I mean, it's, I keep saying it's, the evidence that they have at hand. The evidence they have at hand is very overwhelming that, right? I mean, especially, the quarterback situation. That the most important position in all of sports, or most difficult, important in all of sports. Giants don't have. We got flashes. Man, look at he did that. He did this. But then you and it's not project. It's not wins are not coming from it. From Daniel Jones's performance. So as long as we got Daniel Jones, until he can prove otherwise, we ain't going to get any love, right? The folks at ESPN are still ranking the Giants last in the NFC East heading into the 2022 season behind the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, and the Washington Commanders. Yep, yeah. Let's start by putting the Giants last. They have the worst roster of the bunch. Ooh. Ooh. The Commanders are the wild card. They are better than most want to believe, especially if Wentz can be steady. Well, okay, let's hold your roll right there. He was with the Eagles, then he had a cup of coffee with the Colts. If he was, if he was really kind of steady, whatever like that, I think he might still be with the Colts. So let's not get too carried away right here, okay? The Eagles crushed the draft. Yeah, right. Please. Crushed the draft. I think they got 5 draft picks. Okay. Yeah. Crushed the draft. Cut me a break. Crushed the draft. And they traded for a receiver, A.J. Brown, who they gave $100 million to, and they could have drafted a wide receiver in the draft and saved themselves probably about $22 million a year. But for some reason, they wanted to dish out $25 million a year to a guy who got 800 yards receiving last year. Yeah, that's crushing. Okay, yeah. If you say so. They crushed it. I guess they should be in the Super Bowl then this year. Right. And the Cowboys' offensive line is on the decline, and they lost a couple guys too. So it's Philadelphia, Washington, Dallas, and the Giants. Let's see here. The ESPN's NFL Nation identified the Giants secondary. Yep, they lost 3 boomers back there. There was 3 solid veterans back there. Cornerback James Bradbury, 2 safeties, Logan Ryan and Jabrill Peppers. Now, Jabrill Peppers was a liability in coverage, but he was good in the box. Loved his attitude. He could return punts. He got pressure on the quarterback. He did a lot of things, right? A lot of things. He was a good teammate. As their biggest need this summer, right, is secondary. Yeah, the Giants could use veterans at safety and cornerback, Right now, they have Xavier McKinney at one safety spot and Adoree Jackson at the number one cornerback. Everything else is kind of up for grabs, which it kind of, you want to say Aaron Robinson's going to step in there and take over the number two and, this, that, and Julian Love, is going to step in there at the other safety spot. But, I hope they do. I love Julian Love. I hope we sign him after this year and all that stuff. But, there's no proof of that. And Julian Love step in and fill many roles. Yeah, oh yeah. But can he be the starting safety? Haven't seen that. Can Aaron Robinson step in there and be the number two cornerback? Haven't seen that. All they're doing is the evidence that they have at hand. And there's not good evidence. All right. Let's see here. ESPN also sees the Giants' first 2 round picks, edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau and offensive tackle Evan Neal, making an immediate impact in week 1. All right, there you go. A little love. Right. As for the most intriguing unit, they chose the wide receivers, a group that has a lot to prove this year after falling flat in 2021. Yeah, falling flat. Kenny Golladay. So it was not a spectacular season for him. Sterling Shepard got hurt again. Kadarius Stoney kept getting hurt. They got Wan'Dale Robinson in there. Okay, so hopefully he'll be able to step in there and help out. But yeah, it was they got a good point with the receivers. The Giants have invested a ton at the position in recent years. Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Stoney, Sterling Shepard, and Wan'Dale Robinson either signed lucrative deals or were drafted in the first 2 rounds. Throw in Darius Slayton, and there is serious competition for playing time. Although Golladay and Toney are the clear front runners to play on the outside. Who stays healthy? Yes, could determine who plays the biggest roles. Yep. As we have been reporting, the Giants are a wait-and-see proposition right now. No one knows what to expect with the new front office and coaching staff and loads of new faces on the roster. Yes, it's and you can't say, well, Daboll's, I tell you what, that guy's an unbelievable offensive coordinator. The Giants, their offense is definitely taking. You really can't say that. You hope? Yeah, absolutely. You hope, sure. But, until you see proof, until you see the scoreboard start lighting up, you can't really say that, so. All right, so that's ESPN. Let's go over here, CBS Sports. Now, CBS Sports Giants have the 4th worst roster in the NFL. Wow. That one. Whew. That one's like a gut shot right there. 4th worst. Wow. The New York Giants are in the midst of overhauling their roster after years of excessive losing. New general manager Joe Schoen is just beginning to put his stamp on the team, so it will take some time for them to get in contention. Yeah, as I said, man, they got an easy schedule this year. Okay, they won 4 games last year. I said if they could get, as they're working their way, if they can get 7 or 8 wins, that would really, really be good. I said, easier schedule, okay, and we're trying to, redo the roster a little bit, okay. Hopefully next year we'll get another good draft, get a couple more good guys in. We might be able to go out and maybe do a little spending, in the the off season. We'll have some salary cap money, maybe bring in 1 or 2 nice, decent veterans to add to the mix. I said, but if, the easy schedule we have, man, if we can get an extra 3 wins or 4 wins, do I want to win 9 or 10 or 11? Yeah, absolutely. But, if we get 7 or 8, that would be a nice step forward. Nice step in going forward, a positive direction instead of going, we were 6-10 2 years ago. But we were 5-3 in the last 8 games. That was something. It's like, man, all right, okay, we started off really, really bad, but we finished 5-3, finished strong. It's something to build on for the next year, and it just, didn't work out that way. The New York Giants are in the midst of overhauling the roster after years of excessive losing. New general manager Joe Schoen is just beginning to put a stamp on the team, so it will take some time for them to get into contention. They are still near the bottom of the NFL when it comes to talent, as illustrated in a recent article from Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports, who ranks the Giants roster 29th out of 32. Wow. How much of a boost do all their prospective playmakers get from Brian Daboll's entrance at head coach? Because for all the upside offered by Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney in recent years, they've delivered pretty pitifully. Perhaps Daboll will finally integrate Jones' mobility into the offense and capitalize on the big play size of Golladay and the speed of Toney of his targets. But until we see that happen, with an O-line still in transition, it's hard to trust them with the ball. Like I said, all you can do is the evidence that they have at hand. That's all you can do. And they got overwhelming evidence that right. The Giants' defense needed less tuning than their offense, but salary cap constraints forced them to sever ties with several key veterans in the secondary. As was with the other ad, right? Article. Bradbury, Ryan, and Jabrill Peppers. Lost a lot of veterans, a lot of leadership there, a lot of experience, which has weakened them considerably heading into the season. The new pass rush, however, should be a lot better with some new faces and a new coordinator in Wink Martindale. Yep. Hopefully, Kayvon, it's only going to get better. The pass rush, however, should be a lot better. Right? Kayvon Thibodeau should certainly enliven the front seven, which already boasts foundational pieces of Azeez Ojulari and Dexter Lawrence. But the back half remains a major question mark, especially with former Pro Bowl cornerback James Bradbury now out of the picture. New GM Joe Schoen made clear in his actions this offseason that 2022 was more about deconstructing the lineup than building a new one. Giants fans should not take this ranking as a slight. You need to take a step back sometimes, right, to get your footing to go forward, which is, it's understandable, right? That is why what Shane is doing. He has set the Giants' cap situation straight after years of excesses, and it's going to be a rough ride for a year or two before they begin to reap the benefits of his plan, which is true. But it's also another thing is that we got it. It's not even so much the roster and all and everything. We got to get the quarterback situation right. If somehow Daboll and Kafka and all right, they can get a lot out of Daniel Jones. We're probably not asking for him to get like Josh Allen numbers, Patrick Mahomes type numbers or anything like that. But, can we get him to take a nice step forward this year? That would be huge. And then they're going to have a decision to make. Do we want to, sign him long term? Or, we want to, move on from him and, see what we can do in the draft. Right? You want to win as many games as you can, but if we're going to want to need a new quarterback, you want to be drafted number 18 or 19 or 20 or so when, a bunch of guys, quite a few quarterbacks might go in the top 10. So it's tough. So, but this is, some of the evidence that they got, all right? Look at the last 5 years here. Okay. 3 wins, 5 wins, 4 wins. What is that? 19, 22 wins right here, right? 3, 5, that's 8, 12, and 10 is 22. 22 wins in the last 5 years. This is what they got, right? It ain't much. Ain't much to go by. Then, as I said, then you got the roster here, right? As I said, I love Tyrod Taylor. Fantastic, good backup. As I said, if you need him in there in a pinch or whatever to start a couple of games or whatever like that, absolutely. Is he going to, take us to the promised land or anything? I don't really see that happening. But a good, solid, intelligent, experienced, protects the football, backup quarterback. Okay, that can, can pass, he can run, he can produce some points. Great backup quarterback. but he's not the long-term answer. We got him for this year and we got him for next year. But the biggest question right here is Daniel Jones, and until he starts producing, gotta keep having those question marks. Now we look at the defense, all right. I mean, the front, three years, is solid. I mean, obviously with Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence, we got Justin Ellis and we got a bunch of other guys back here, okay. But we got Leonard. This might be Leonard Williams last year. I mean, if we let him go next year, we save a boatload of money. So this might be his last year. And then the edge rushers, yes. Kayvon and Azeez, yeah. So, I mean, absolutely we got better there, okay? But, then you got the middle linebacker. Does Blake come back to what he was? Or is he going to take maybe another year? Because sometimes they say it takes like a year, maybe possibly 2 years for them to come back fully. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, because who you put next to Blake, I mean, Jay Crowder doesn't grade out very well. He got a lot of tackles, but he didn't grade out very well. Then you got these two guys back here. You got Beavers and McFadden. Okay, am I pulling for him? Absolutely. Let's go, guy. I'm pulling for absolutely a draft pick, sure. But you don't know what they can do. I mean, you hear a lot of things about Micah McFadden. He's good in the box, but outside the box or maybe covered, he's maybe a liability. So I mean, I have to wait and see. Cam Brown, I mean, good on special teams, not so good on defense. Okay, and then Carter Coughlin, they got him bouncing around all over. They had him on the outside a couple of years ago, then they put him on the inside. So I mean, right. So I said the edge rushers definitely got better. But I mean, the biggest thing is the secondary. I mean, when you lose Logan Ryan, Jabrill Peppers, and you got to let James Bradbury go. I mean, we had a nice secondary last year, really, really good secondary, lots of experience. Okay, but your first cornerback, you got to let him go for salary money. Logan Ryan, you just let him go because he's not going to be part of the future. We really didn't say. I think we saved like $700,000 by letting him go. And Jabrill Peppers. Okay, so I mean, you lost a lot in the secondary, and the secondary for the Giants is going to be huge because you're sending all that pressure, right? And so that leaves the guys, there's a lot of pressure on the guys in the secondary. A lot might be one-on-one, and these guys can't hold up. They're going to start getting burnt like toast. Right, so I mean, a lot of that happened last year with McMardell with the Ravens. They gave up. They had a lot of injuries, right? But they definitely got weaker in the secondary, and because he likes to send a lot of pressure to guys in the secondary one-on-one, and when they're not that good, you got second and third stringers in the secondary trying to hold up. He gave up. Their defense gave up a lot of big plays in the passing game, a lot of big plays. So. All right, so I mean the secondary is big question mark. I'm hoping these guys can step up, but you got to see the evidence, right? Then we go to the offense right here. So you go to the offensive line. I mean, I definitely think, without a question, I think hopefully Lemieux comes back. If not him, all right, maybe we got Azudu can maybe step in there, right, behind him. Right, but we got Neal, we got Glowinski. I'll have to see how Feliciano does. Hope he does decent. I know he wants to play. He definitely wants to play center, so he's going to get a shot. You don't know if Nick Gates will ever be able to come back or not. So I don't know if we'll be looking for a center next year. Who knows? But I mean, with Andrew Thomas coming back, I mean, the offensive line should be better. Okay. The biggest question mark, as I said, is Daniel Jones. What's he going to do? Then the tight end situation. All right. I mean, we had Kyle Rudolph, a good proven veteran, didn't do much last year. And then we got Evan Ingram, not good pass blocking. He's good at dropping passes, but regardless of that, he's a mismatch, in the secondary. plain and simple, right? So we lost those guys. Okay, we replacing them with Daniel Bellinger, as I said. Am I pulling for Daniel Bellinger? Sure, absolutely. Do I want him to get 50, 60 receptions? Sure. And be a good block? Absolutely. But you have no proof of that, right? So we took a step back, right, as far as the tight ends. We got Saquon, right, coming back. Right? Can he stay healthy? Right? But I mean, the big thing up here is these guys that I'm running my right up here, these three, right, the Fab Three. Injuries waiting to happen. Okay, Kenny Golladay was wasn't utilized properly last year. Oh, he's a disappointing season, but he gets injured. Kadarius Toney, he had 6 different injuries last year. I mean, he missed like almost half the season. Sterling Shepard, unfortunately, he gets injured all the time. He may not even start the season because he got injured late in the last season. So he may not be ready for this season. You know what I mean? Well, hopefully we'll get Wan'Dale Robinson can step in and take, maybe his spot, right? But I mean, his injuries, So I mean, once again, that's the evidence that these ESPN, CBS has. What evidence do they have? Well, these guys get injured a lot, right? So I mean, they don't have a lot to go by. As I said, you can't, when Dable coming in and all, you can hope, that the offense gets better. But once again, we have nothing to go by. So, it's kind of a gut shot. It kind of hurts and all and everything. But when you look at the evidence that CBS and ESPN have to go by, it's kind of hard to argue with what they wind up saying. I have not, I can certainly see, obviously, without shadow of a doubt, that, the Giants could be in last place. I could certainly see that, or where you would predict them possibly to come in last place. Absolutely, especially because we don't have a proven quarterback. The Giants being the 29th, I haven't looked at every roster. I'm not going to look at every roster. And also, I mean, being the 29th out of 32, that's kind of a gut shot. But, it is what it is. But until we start seeing some proven results from Daniel Jones, from maybe the secondary, and we start winning some games, unfortunately, the articles like this that I just read from CBS and ESPN, you're going to keep seeing year in and year out until the Giants start winning some football games. So you see, I mean, you gotta hope they're wrong, right? I mean, I love nothing. I love nothing better, okay, than people, predicting this or predicting that, especially if it's bad for the Giants and all, and then we wind up proving them wrong, but. I mean, it's hard to argue with what they're saying here, okay? All they had was the evidence they have, especially from the past 5 years, which is really lousy football. And they can't say that a first-time coach is going to come in, or first-time GM, and just going to whip everything into shape, and we're just going to start turning out playoff teams. You can't say that. And as I said, actually, I got maybe 2 things, okay? One is... the evidence that they've had, okay? With the 2 biggest things that they've had, evidence-wise, what's one of them? Injuries. Giants are, for whatever reason, the worst injury-plagued team since, like, the last 10 years or so. They got all of that evidence, right? Injuries are really going to hurt this team quite a bit. So hopefully we can stay away from the injuries. So that's one. And number 2, we got Daniel Jones. And as long as we got Daniel Jones, and as long as he's not producing, or way a number 6 overall pick, Giants ain't going to get much love. And especially if he doesn't wind up being the guy, and then the next year we got to try to go out and maybe in the draft and get up another quarterback, we're still not going to get any love until that quarterback, produces. Right, so, I mean, these articles, you can argue with them till you're blue in the face. It is what it is, but all it comes down to is the Giants have to produce on the field. Once they start producing, they staying healthy, and they produce on the field by getting some W's, right, then they'll start getting some love. But until then, you're going to keep seeing articles like this. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!